So, about a couple months ago, I made a video talking about the announcement of God of War Laufey and how people were mad about it because a woman's leading the game and it's not Kratos and blah, blah, blah. Stuff about woke bullshit that's not even woke. But I was pretty much talking about that, but also how excited I was for the game and how I consider myself to be a God of War fan. As I have gotten into God of War, when did I get into God of War? I think it was about maybe probably 2022, and then I also played Ragnarok. I really do love the characters, the story, the universe, like the whole franchise is really fucking cool. Especially as a lover of mythology, it's like of course I fucking love God of War. And I'm excited for this next game and also for the remake for the trilogy. I got a comment on this video, and usually I don't really pay attention to negative comments because it's like I can go on with the rest of my day and shit. It interested me and made me want to talk about something that I think is very interesting. The comments from months back, and I don't remember what it said verbatim. It started off with saying, I can't call myself a God of War fan if I haven't played the first couple of games. I was gonna say first 3, but there's, like, I think 2 or 3 other games, so first 5 or 6 games. I can't be a fan if I haven't played those games, and I've had a lot of time, as this commenter said, to play all of those games, and I thought that was very interesting. How does that not make me a fan? Why do we have to put criteria on what a fan is when it comes to different fandoms and communities? I feel like some people have this superiority complex when it comes to being an expert or like a vet in a fandom. Been with the series for a long time, for like franchises that go as far back as Resident Evil. They've played all the games, they know all of the characters, they know all the little details about the characters, they know the lore very deeply, they know everything about the mechanics, they're pretty much experts, they've played the games multiple times, they have merch, they have all of these things that, like, in their heads makes them like a superior person as far as knowledge goes and experience. And look, personally, people like that I kind of admire because it's like, yeah, you know your shit. And I think that's really cool. However, I think it's unfair to nitpick other people's experience with a franchise or a fandom and say that they're not a fan because of criteria that you have. I feel like if you like something enough, if you like a game enough or you like multiple games enough from the same series, then you can call yourself a fan. And the funny thing about God of War is that yes, 2018 was my introduction to the franchise, but people who are introduced into a franchise with a later installment, it doesn't make them less of a fan. Another example, I'm a Persona fan. I got into Persona 2018, 2019 when high school started for me. And Persona 5 was the latest game at the time. So, of course, I was going to play Persona 5. And even though, yeah, it's the fifth one, I wasn't really much aware of 3 or 4 or any of the other Persona games. So I got the latest one, I played it, I fell in love with it, I've played it about 2 or 3 fucking times, I got Royal, I was really excited for Royal, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this series is awesome. I can't wait to play all the other games." Now, even if I didn't play all the other games, if I just like Persona 5, that's enough. You could argue, well, if you only like Persona 5, can you call yourself a Persona fan because you haven't played all the other games? Sure, I guess you could argue that. But if we're just talking Persona, sure. I haven't even played all of the other fucking Persona games. I played Persona 3 Reload because I prefer a lot of the remake graphics than the older ones. Don't get me wrong, they seem very nostalgic, but I just like how the newer ones look. And I really want Persona 4 Revival. I haven't played the originals of the other ones, and I haven't even played the older ones. Like, does that mean I'm less of a fan? Absolutely not. Just because someone gets into a series later in the series does not make them less of a fan. If that's how they were introduced to it, that is completely valid. Another thing that this comment had pointed out was that I had plenty of time to play the other God of War games. And I'm just like, okay, I have a fucking life. I have a life. I'm a goddamn adult. I just turned 22. I have things to do. All of the other games that I want to play aside from God of War, are a slow work in progress. It's not like the good old days where all I had to do was go to class in high school and middle school and do some homework and then I had more free time. It's not like that anymore. I have responsibilities just like any other fucking adult. I would love to sit at home 24/7 and just play a bunch of video games and sit on my ass in my gaming chair and eat some fucking chips or Doritos and just be a lazy fucking potato. But guess what? That's not reality. And if it takes me even longer to play the other games, so what? I can still call myself a fan. And let's also talk about the people who may not even be able to afford games. Like, if we're going to say that you have to play the games to call yourself a fan of something, that is unfair to the people who maybe can't afford the games, who can't play the games for whatever reason, especially if it's financial reasons. And you see some people saying, like, you can buy all this, but you can't buy a PS5, you can't buy a video game. Some people have other priorities, but they still enjoy the gameplay. They still enjoy the world. They still enjoy the story. Maybe one day they'll get to it. And the people who do eventually get to the games that they've wanted to play for so long and that they've been fans of and they get to experience it firsthand, I love that. I'm so happy for those people because it's like, bro, you get to know what it's like just like the rest of us. You get to have those first time reactions, you get to have those first time experiences. Your mind is going to be fucking blown. You're going to fall in love all over again, but in a new way. And even on this note of people who are vets in their fandoms, it also is a theme as well that I've seen more recently. It's like if you have a different opinion about something with like one of the games, with the characters, with the plot, or anything. Something that goes really against the majority or a lot of the like long-term fans who collectively have this standard opinion, you get attacked for it. This is kind of off topic of the theme of the video, but not really. It's interesting to see that people in these fandoms cannot have like a productive conversation about their differences of opinions about the games that they love. I just finished The Last of Us, like all 3 games. Part 1, the DLC, and part 2. Had a fucking blast. I mean, one of the best games I've ever played. And going into part 2, I mean, even going into part 1, I'm like, okay, I haven't watched part 1 in a really long time. This is my first time ever playing it myself. And everyone was like, it seemed like there was a lot of controversy around part 2. So now I get to see what everybody was talking about. I finally finished the game. I finished the game today as I'm recording this. I finished it today. And I went on Reddit. And to be honest, it's like I can see why people don't like the ending, but the people who look at it more deeply compared to the people who just hate it because let me not spoil it, because certain things did not happen, the differences of opinions on how part 2 ended and how the game played out, like it caused so much heated discussion or people to attack others for their opinion or for their analysis. Whether you liked the ending or didn't like the ending, okay, everyone has their own opinion, but you don't have to attack people for it. You don't have to be rude about it. If you can't respond to it with counter arguments or with more questions or walk away with a new perspective or just not be a dick, it makes it hard for people to want to be a part of these fucking communities. And like another example I can think of is like people who like Grace in Resident Evil 9 versus the people who do not like Grace whatsoever. Like, look, okay, if you don't like Grace, that's fine. I feel like some of the reasons people don't like her are a bit stupid, and that's my opinion. Am I gonna argue with anybody about it and get like be an asshole to anybody online? No. But I've seen people say, "Oh, like she stutters too much and she's so scared and yada yada yada." And also that she's not one of the OG characters or the fact that they have to keep switching back and forth between her and Leon. Like people wanted just straight Leon gameplay or they would have preferred any of the other main protagonist in the Resident Evil universe. But there are people who like Grace. I personally love Grace. Like, of course, she probably won't be used in any of the next few games ever again. But I do agree with what other people said. She was refreshing. She did feel like more human. And I feel like I don't know, I just really liked her character. But it's like if you express that or feel that way, people are going to be like, "What is wrong with you? You shouldn't feel that way. Grace is an emotional wreck," and whatever people have said. If you know the discourse, it's sad to me that people in fandoms can make someone else's experience, like, so shitty, and it doesn't even have to be just a one-off situation, it's like a collective thing at times. Why can't we have productive conversations as fans? Why can't we accept the newer fans into these communities and welcome them into this experience and welcome them into what these games entail, the stories that they're trying to tell, the things that are going to be upcoming in the future. Like why can't we just why can't people just stop being assholes? Yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about, just that comment and how interesting it was that someone could say I'm not a fan because I haven't played every God of War game when I feel like what I've done on my end is enough to call myself a fan. If I love the game, if I've played the games that I've been able to, and I'm going to play and I'm excited for what's next, guess what? I'm a fan of God of War. I will say that fucking proudly, and I will be replaying the games too before Lao Fei comes out, and I'm very excited for that. That's it for this video. Let me know if you've experienced any of this stuff. Have you experienced being told that you're not a fan? Have you ever been ridiculed for having a different opinion in these types of discussions with other fans in whatever game community it is? Let me know if you agree, disagree, relate, don't relate, and until my next video, whatever I talk about.